Hello and welcome to another episode of Mysteries with a History, where I'll take you on a wild ride into the unknown, the strange, and the mysterious. Like you, I have questions. Like you, I want answers. There's more to this world than most think or believe. Mysteries that stretch back into murky epochs of time, that hint of other realms, other worlds, and other intelligences. We're on this journey together. With each episode, we will peel away the layers to look for the truth. Last week, we did the mysteries of India, and there was so much to cover that today we are doing a part two. If you have not watched or listened to part one, I will place the link below after this live show is over. Now, without further ado, it's a very quick intro. Let me bring in my co host, Jimmy Church of Fade to Black Radio, to get this started on this incredible country that has an extensive, rich history in the strange and the mysterious. And now I'm just trying to really pull this out while Jimmy gets himself ready. All right, here we go. Jimmy, how is it going? Happy Thursday.
What
I'm
kind of crap
excited.
is
You
that?
excited?
Okay, without further ado, let's bring in Jim. What?
I told you backstage, I'm like, dude, it's going to be a really, really short intro because
You
we,
didn't
we
tell
already
me
did a lengthy one last week.
really short and 15 seconds are two different things. Let me make that. I was mid gulp. I wasn't even mid sip, man. I was like, okay, this sounds good. All right. What? All right. Welcome everybody. How you doing? I am so excited. Today's going to be a crazy show. It's going to be a fun show. And it was great last week. And we knew because we had all of these things, but this is what that we didn't get to, right? But this is what Cristina does to me. Okay, I'm just gonna paint this picture for everybody. You need to understand what this woman puts me through. Okay, so we have a list of stuff that we didn't get to last week, and we know we can roll it over, have a great show, and probably have issues with packing it all in, but not in Christina's world. Oh no. She sends me a list, Excel spreadsheet, and I'm like, dude, she's like, man, this is so much fun. The research is great, Jimmy. You got to check all this stuff out. And going through it, Cristina, I'm going to tell you, your research is amazing. I know how it goes when you're doing this, and one thing leads you into another, and it leads. I don't make note of it. You have footnotes, man. It just adds up.
And footnotes for my footnotes, just
Yeah,
to be safe. I like to have that cushion,
I love it.
just to make sure.
I love it. And that's the way that you work. And so we've got a great show lined up for today. Welcome, everybody. Very, very happy to be here. But I'm going to say it's a strange show. Queen Elizabeth II died today. And there's a strange thing here. And I live in the United States. Cristina lives here in the United States. And here in the United States, we separated from the monarchy, right? And so we have grown up over 250 years avoiding that. And in that, it's not part of us. So we don't really understand. We think that we do, and of course we know who the Queen Mother is, and there's no question about that. But she's not our queen, right? But she is the UK, Ireland, Scotland, Canada, New Zealand, right? Australia. She is their queen. And the impact of and multiple other countries and islands and things. And her face and her presence is on currency all around the world where people think and see and it's every single day. And today we're talking about India and the presence of Great Britain in India. This goes back a long, long ways. And these things are not forgotten. They're long lasting. and her impact on everybody. She was 96, and she is older than anybody you know, right? She's older than anybody that you know, which means everybody has grown up with her and only her as their queen, right? There's so many, and that's all they've ever known. And so today is a very strange day for the world and her impact on so many. And we just got to take a minute and just recognize the significance of today. I didn't think it was ever going to happen. I thought she was going to bust this thing out to 200, if you want to know the truth. But making it to 96 is pretty incredible. And 70 years, right? She was queen, 72 years, something like that. She became queen at the age of 25, right? In 1952. What did you do? Christina, what have you done with your life?
Obviously not enough.
Right. You know what I mean? 25, Queen of England. And that's a really big deal. So today is a strange day for the planet. It really, really is. So now we have a King of England. Did you know this?
Yes.
Did you know that at death, right? You've got a doctor there, and it's 12:07. Click. I'm exaggerating, right? But at that moment, Prince Charles is king. There's going to be a ceremony. There's going to be but at that moment, King of England, just like that. So now we have King Charles. Yeah, pretty strange. It feels weird even saying it, right? King Charles of England, right? Say it.
We're so used to saying Prince Charles, but now things have shifted altogether, and he is now King Charles the Third.
Yeah.
So, as Michael had said, good evening all on a sad day here in the UK. And adding on to what Jimmy had said, I do want to say a very heartfelt and compassionate condolences to those watching and watchers and viewers across the pond who are mourning the loss of Queen Elizabeth II. So I definitely know that this is a very dark time right now for so many of you, and I just want you to know that I definitely feel for you.
Yeah.
Michael says, question I have for both of you is, how is it possible in what we believe was created in the Bronze Age that India was producing rock cut architecture?
Oh yeah, we're going to get into that. And there is Michael, that is a great point. And when you go into the deep history of India and you look at the different, it's architecture and, of course, rocks and granite and things, but some of it is so ginormous. We have the Great Pyramid, we talk about Stonehenge. There are monuments and temples in India that are so friggin' big, it boggles the mind. And some of it, out of one piece of rock,
Right.
that's quarter mile wide, quarter mile, and with rooms at one piece. And they did this not only sideways, but they did it deep into the ground. Very, very old stuff. Back to your point, how can they create some of this complex rock art? You said Bronze Age. Let's go before the Bronze. And the Bronze Age, to me, doesn't count as metallurgy. It was cute, right? But a bronze sword, no. It's, you know what I mean? It's too soft. And they had to, copper and bronze and adding nickel and things and chemicals to it to harden it. They hadn't gotten to steel yet, right? But they were trying to, because copper chisels and, bronze was a little bit harder, but it's still soft. So you're not carving granite with that. You're not doing things with that. It's just soft tools. And so that's a big question. But they also did it before then. So how did they get that done? That goes with anybody around the world, Cristina, that was doing this stuff. Göbekli Tepe, right? That was, check this. That was 9,000 years before the Bronze Age. 9,000 years before the Bronze Age. What? Oh man. So anyway, thank you for that, Michael, and
Thank
thank
you
you
so
for
much for the super chat.
he paid in British sterling.
Only appropriate for
Yeah,
today.
only appropriate. Only appropriate. Right on. Right on.
And what he had mentioned, let's go ahead and get into that with the Kailasa Temple. I think we should start there first because that was made in a pretty spectacular way. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. But while I do that, Jimmy, tell us a little bit about that
Well,
temple.
let me see which temple it is. Pop it up on the screen because it may be the one. Oh, okay. Now, this is the deal. Remember what I said about things that were sideways or things that this is going the opposite. We're going into the rock and we are going down below. I don't have the dates on this temple, Cristina, so excuse me for that. But I've watched so many videos and the size of this, and when you're standing on the edge and looking down into it, this took a long time to cut. The part about this, and this is part of the history of this particular temple, is that and it's not the only one, by the way, that was done like this. This is done in multiple spots around India. Some were claimed to get to wells, and to descend down into water, which makes this, a kind of a, what's the word that I want to use? Yeah, religious, a special site because water was so special, so that it was revered. But there were many temples around India that were built in this fashion. This one is so big that the entire city was involved with this. It was done over generations, and it's very complex and very ornate, and it is huge. And descending into it is mind blowing. This is one of the most ornate, intricate man-made things on the planet, and I've just always found it fascinating. There's another example. Okay, so, and this is what I'm referring to, and historians and archaeologists will all tell you the same thing. This is done in the opposite fashion of normal construction, which is done all over India, in that you are removing the rock and leaving something behind. It's a different method, right? It's the opposite of what you would normally do to construct something. So this has to be planned so far in advance. You can see the size of the actual rock formation. Oh, can everybody see me? I'm actually swirling my fingers. Okay, so when in that, I'm talking with my hands right now. But if you can see this is one piece of rock, coming from the left, going over to the right. And there it is. And then you have to design this and then remove the rock, and you are going to leave the temple behind. And you have to have the design, the rooms that are going to be in there, and you have to access this, which here it's from the front, as you can see. And it's incredible. It's big, Cristina.
It is, and this temple is located in Maharashtra, India, is the world's largest megalithic piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
And what's incredible about this, and Jimmy, you touched on it, is that it is a single piece of solid rock in a cave on a mountainside. The amount of time you would need to create this, the amount of people, and for all of them to see this vision as well, because you're doing it not double the work, not triple the work, but 4, 5, 6, 7 times the amount of work compared to if you just grabbed rocks and piled them on top of each other.
Right.
Here you are digging out rock and you're putting it somewhere else.
Who's the guy, Cristina? This is where I insert the joke. Who's the guy? See the grass in the background? See the grass back there? Who's the guy standing there with a crowd of people going, okay, this is what we're going to do. See the hill? Okay. We're just going to take it out. And then we're going to leave a temple in the middle. Well, okay, what are we going to do now? The hill that you see right there, that big rock, we're just going to cut it apart. And then we're going to, how do you convince people to do that?
Well,
It is a ginormous undertaking.
It is. Well, the Hindus created the temple to honor Lord Shiva, and they intended to mimic his home in Mount Kailash in the Himalayan mountains. So, we do need to keep in mind that a lot of these ancient structures across the world, how do we convince them? Well, we try to bring in honor or religion to go ahead and state, well, you're doing it for a god, you're going to bring in good karma. And I think that could have been a possibility for this temple as well. People have stated that it took them about 2 decades, maybe a little bit more, but no one is for certain. And this was created between 757 through 783 AD. So that was
It's great.
pretty long ago.
John, I think it's John. Let me back up. I don't have the ability to highlight these. Cristina hasn't given me that kind of right yet. But maybe someday I'll get that promotion. Yeah, that's it. You got it. Who did that? Did you do that? How did
I
you
did that.
The one that was mind talk. That was a Jedi
There
mind
you
trick
go.
I just did. Imagine cutting that. Thank you, John. Cutting that out of stone and making a mistake. Where everybody's standing out, they're kind of leaning. Is it straight?
Right? Oh my gosh, that would be.
Is that straight?
Uh,
Absolutely, because you can't make a mistake. You absolutely cannot. But Christina's point that this is the largest megalithic site on the planet. It's right there in India, and we can talk when you go and you research India and you start to find. Better question: who listened to that guy? Right? Yes. When because we are so, Cristina, we're so acclimated, and for the right reasons. I get it. To Stonehenge, to Machu Picchu, and Giza. Right? We talk about the, and stuff, and Chaco Canyon. And when you take a look at India and you really see what's going on and when and how they did it, and the size of it, and the majesty of it. I always step back and scratch my head. Why is it that we aren't talking about this first? Right? Why aren't we talking about this first? Because this is insane. It's just an incredible temple, one of the most incredible. It's the biggest in the world.
And what's a really interesting fact about this is that in modern times, it could take about 200 days working at 24 hours per day to excavate the entire site using contemporary technology. But that doesn't take into account the elaborate carvings over this structure. And if we look here, I have here's another photo of it. But if you zoom in on the detail on this, it is superb.
It's
So,
crazy beautiful.
imagine in 700 AD them using very soft stones to go ahead and attempt to create this.
Hammers. Yeah.
Hammers and things like this. It makes you think twice.
I had read a statistic about how the numbers, and the statistic was without the carving, right? Without the carving, that putting that aside, that the amount of trucks working round the clock, dump trucks, filling it up full of the debris to remove, that amount of stone and take it out, it's like 50 years. 50 years. And then this is the other thing. You got to move that stuff somewhere.
Yeah.
It's got to be moved. You got to remove the debris. Now we're talking about modern dump trucks. They didn't have. So what was going on back then? It's incredible. It's a feat. It's wonderful, and it's amazing to see. And it's right there in India. Incredible. That is a true mystery with a history right there.
It is, and I think maybe one of my favorite temples that I've looked into, just because it's really difficult to wrap my head around how they created it, and with the dedication to create that for 2 decades. NatureCam HD says, Cristina, have there been reports of finding tools or human remains near any of these temples? From my research, while there are some in museums, usually when you look into these types of stories, there haven't really been any tools or remains found nearby, but there have been specific lakes where you see entire skeleton bodies in that lake. But what about yourself, Jimmy?
I,
And thank you, by the way, Mr. Cam.
yeah, thank you. This is the what I normally look for around temples like this, and I bring this up every time, everywhere when I'm looking at a megalithic site. And a lot of archaeologists do the same thing first. They look for evidence of war, right? They want to see if there are mass graves, were there arrowheads, swords, people that were killed with weapons, and is there evidence of that? Were there, or was this a peaceful construction where there wasn't any evidence of that and there wasn't mass graves? Because what the mass graves suggest a couple of things. One, an army lost soldiers in a battle, right, defending this place, that it was special to them. That's one. Or two, slaves, right, that there was slaves that were brought in and discarded and were forced to build this temple. And a lot of archaeologists look at that first, because if you don't have evidence of either of those things, then it's a peaceful settlement. And this was done in peaceful means by people that volunteered and wanted to build this. If you died, you were taken somewhere else and buried with your family or something like that. But and that's what I always look for. So I haven't seen, not to say that it doesn't exist, but around this temple and others, we don't see evidence of that like we do in other places.
And we also need to keep in mind that even in present day, after we build something, we don't leave our tools on the floor. We take them back to the warehouse, which we give them back to the people that we rented it from, and then we continue our day. So, in general, it is rare to find tools near a site because we don't do that now, and we probably didn't do it then. We're like, oh, we're done building. I'm just going to leave all my tools here. All right, thanks, guys. I don't think that's the case.
That's true. And any tools that would have been used back then would have been very special, very precious, very important, and also very rare. So
Exactly.
you are
And then probably reused, and recycled.
resharpened, recycled. Copper chisel is used until it's a copper nub. Right? It's true, though. There's no evidence of copper tools. That's because those things were used until they didn't exist. You're looking for a copper chisel this big. Look for copper nubs. Look for the leftover. And then so you get a pile of copper nubs. What do? Make one big one.
There you go.
Right? And then so over and over and over again. Imagine how special a copper chisel would be when there wasn't any. Right?
Right.
I mean, it just doesn't. It would be the most special thing ever. What's Bob using over there? He's got a copper chisel. What? It's like that. It would have been that special and that rare. So you're going at one point, and this really applies to India. If you look at the timeline of things, 2500 BC. 2500 BC is the Bronze Age. And you can go and look at all the timelines with all the cultures around the world and look at this historically. Some timelines push this back. Yeah, melt it down and resmith it. Thank you for that, Philip. Well, you already got it up. How did you do it before I read it?
We're on the same wavelength, Jimmy.
It's new technology, Jimmy. It's new technology. We post it before they type it.
Oh, and guess who's in the chat today? It's
sucker. No way. Mark the sucker. Is this and thank you for that, Mark. If you jump back to this specific era, this timeline between 3000 BC and 2500 BC, at some point there was no metallurgy. Right before that there was. And how to make this jump from animal skins, right? Chicken bone tools. I'm not making this up, right? Tools made of ribs or whatever, right? Your hammer was a cow femur, right? It's the truth, right? A piece of wood. To go from that to suddenly somebody going, hey man, let's melt this stuff and make tool, we can do stuff. That leap happened, and it happened across cultures all around the world. But before that, when these monuments were being built, when there wasn't any metallurgy, allegedly, that's the big question. I still don't understand how Göbekli Tepe could have been built without stone tools. I mean, without metal tools.
And that's why we did a whole show on it, and that was a really fascinating episode. If you haven't watched it, please do. It's awesome. Sever, thank you so much for the super sticker. There is one important detail that I do want to mention about this temple before we continue.
That better be a paintball gun.
Oh my gosh, paintball? That's fun.
You saw that, right? Is that a paintball gun? 7 paintball shots? Yeah, right there.
I don't know if it is. But paintball is fun until you like come home all bruised and stuff. But civilizations in India came and went without anyone noticing this structure until 1682. That's the strangest part. So you had this beautiful temple in around 700 AD. Somehow it all got buried. And then people didn't find it once again until the 1600s.
It's a scope, by the way. It's a scope. Thank you, 7-Shot, for clarifying that. It's 7-Shot 777. So he's a holy shot, and that's always good to know. So there you go. He's looking with his scope for the baby Jesus. Okay, let's Cristina. We got to move. We got to go. We got to
move. We got to move. Last thing. In this temple, there are more than 30 million Sanskrit carvings that have yet to been translated. I just wanted to mention that before we continue. Super important information. Crazy stuff.
Right. Oh, Cristina. Okay, so
I'll let you pick the next one.
Okay, well, do we want to go crazy woo, or do we want to let me see here, because there's a couple. Okay, there's a couple of let's go with the sonic boom, because this is in the media. This is crazy. This is nuts, but it was also the timing of this sonic boom that for me is relevant. I remember having this bust out in the news. So it's the sonic boom of Jodhpur. And if you could, Cristina, help me out with this. I've got my show notes on this, and I can run with it. I want to hear your take. I want to know how you found out about this.
I just typed in Mysteries of India, and this came up.
That simple? Is it that easy to do?
Sometimes. It just depends. But on the morning of December 18th, 2012, precisely at 11:25 a.m., people of India were frightened by a deafening sound that appeared out of nowhere in the sky. The sound resembled the sound caused by a jet plane crossing the speed of sound, and this phenomenon is known as sonic boom. But the problem with Jodhpur's sound boom was that the sound was far noisier and more profound than any other sonic boom. What's really weird about this is that this is consistent across the globe, and no one really has an explanation for it. And this is kind of more up your alley, Jimmy, because you've covered this multiple times in your shows. You've spoken to people about this on Fade to Black. So I would like to hear your thoughts on not just in India, but all across the globe. Some people are hearing just these incredibly bizarre, very loud sounds. And before you answer that, I do want to say I have been asked a lot. I've been asked a lot how people in the live chat get their names in green and the alien face after The name? Well, it is when you sign up as a channel member. It's a way to support my work and channel aside from Patreon and gives you the name in green. And you have access to a bunch of really fun special emojis unique to this channel. So if
Oh,
you want
that's
to
cool.
join,
How
just
do I
click.
join?
Well, I'm about to tell you. If you want to join, click on the join button under the video window.
Okay, I'm doing it right now. What do I do?
Okay.
Okay, video window.
And you get really cute emojis. My favorite one is the
Okay,
Sasquatch
I'm under
emoji.
the video window.
Yeah, and you're
Oh,
gonna say join.
I see. Dislike, share, save.
Nature
Yeah,
cam.
is this in YouTube?
Yeah, it's in YouTube. But
Oh,
while you do that,
you mean join, like JOIN, join.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I got it right here. So hold on a second.
Well, while you do that, and for others that want to have their name in green, Nature Cam said, Jimmy said, go Beckley Tepe wrong. You forgot to pause.
Hey, nature, you've got your emoji revoked. Okay, wait a minute. Loyalty badges. Okay, so I just clicked join.
Thank you
I'm
so
in.
much, Nature Cam. You're so funny.
Okay, this is good. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay. I did the $100 a month option.
That's not an option.
Okay. All right. Now I'm in C
Oh,
Pro.
I see you.
Okay, now, but how do I change my emoji?
Well, you in the on the YouTube, you're able when you click on the emojis, there's a top row specifically for members that you get like a bunch of fun alien faces. You
Right.
got the Ghostbuster sign. You got
Okay, but
Sasquatch.
I need to change it.
No, you can't change it. You can just add some more
Okay,
in the chat.
I add more in the chat? I want to change my emoji. I want the green alien dude. How do I get the green alien dude?
You got to click it.
Back. So what do I got to do? Rejoin?
No. You just click on it. So it's automatic. So whenever you post, you'll get that green alien face after your name. So it'll change with how long you sign up for.
Okay, I'm so confused about
The
this.
color.
Okay, let's get out of this. I'm sorry, everybody, but I'm excited now. Look, I'm a new member. That was easy to do. Everybody here should be friggin' green. Pono, you should be green. Marty, you should be green. John, you should be green. Michael, what are you doing, man? Come on,
Fuzzy.
Michael. Hides in long grass, hiding behind that. You need to hide behind a green name and then hides behind long grass. Makes a lot of sense. Nemo, Philip, I'm calling them all out. Plower.
Well, we do have some amazing ones. We do have Skyhawk. We do have Sever as well, who are team members, YouTube members. Marty just became one. Thank you so much, guys. Y'all are so much fun. But there is.
Quit playing around. I want to see all green. I want to see all green all the time around here. That's it. I did it. My broke ass. You can do it too. Okay. So, Cristina, where were we? Oh, the sonic boom. Okay. So let's circle back.
Okay.
I'll do this without my green alien head. And thank you for that, Cam. Very cool. The sonic boom part. This happened in the middle of December in 2012. If we roll back the clocks and the hysteria, and if you weren't around in 2012 and a part of this community to be a part of the 2012 hysteria, the Mayan calendar, the prophecies, the things, the statements, the books, everything that was happening all at the same time, December 21st, 2012 was a big deal. And that was the countdown, right? There were people, I mean, they were so freaked out about the Mayan calendar because the Mayan calendar ended, right?
Right.
And it was how it was being interpreted. Doesn't matter. It just ended. And as this date was rolling up and this date was getting closer, December 18th, I think it was the 18th, 17th, 18th in India, the loudest noise ever heard right in the history of India suddenly happens. And people thought that was the start of the end of the world. And the hysteria, the hype, the elevation of December 21st in 2012. I was there. I was seriously looking out the window. Is it, and what's going on? And then that happens, and it freaked a lot of people out. So this is let's back up. And I remember the story when it went down. Everybody jumps in. They're calling the police. The police are hearing about this. The media, everybody heard it outside. The police, the mayor, they're calling the military. They're calling the Indian Air Force. And are you guys testing craft? Are you guys blowing up bombs? They even thought that there was a possibility like an invasion, or there was some kind of sabotage at one of the military bases, and maybe some weapons depot and ammunition was blown up. It was that loud and that big of an explosion. The military comes back and says, we got nothing. We weren't flying any planes. We weren't testing anything. Nothing blew up. We don't know what it was, but we heard it too, which added to the speculation of what this actually was. Was it a cosmic event from above? Was it the start of the end of the world? Was this December 21st, 2012 coming up? Was it all of this? And here's the deal. December 21st, 2012 came and went. I woke up on the 22nd, made it through. But everybody else had the same thought, okay? You're always in a what-if moment. But that was 12 years ago, or 10 years ago. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
It's never been solved. It's never been solved. That there has never been an answer given. Gonzo came in, my man.
Thank you so much for being a YouTube member. And John Edge, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Cam says, I really believe a lot of the megalithic structures are much older and are re-inhabited at a later date.
Correct, my friend. Can I see that again? Can you post that up again?
Absolutely.
Cam Fuzzy, that's awesome. And you had to pay to say it. I would have posted that for free. But all seriousness aside, that is one of the most important points. Not only in India, back to Cam's point, but all around the world.
All around the world.
Look, do you really want to, right? If we back up and go, okay, so you know how we leveled out that mountain over there? Took us 50 years. Now we're going to do this one. And they go, well, no, instead of that, why don't we reuse that one? Right? Instead of doing that, let's just build a temple on top of the mountain that we already leveled. We don't have to. No, let's don't do that. This is already a special place. So let's build our temple on top of the mountain that we leveled, or whatever it is, right? And you go back and repurpose it. And I think that happened all over Egypt. I think it happened all over Iraq. I think it happened all over North and South and Central America, that you're going to go back and reuse and repurpose. Why go quarry 1 million stones if you got 1 million stones in front of you and you can go and add on to this temple? I believe the Sun Temple, the Sun Pyramid in Mexico City, that's 7 pyramids. That's, you know what I mean? It's like a Russian doll. It's it started off like this, and they built another pyramid on top. You know what I mean? And so what you see today is like, I think the number is 7. I think it's 7. 7 pyramids that ended up being stacked up on top of each other. And that is a totally repurposed, reused special place. So why not?
Exactly. So why not? That seems to be the answer for a lot of people during these ancient times, where they just built on top of each other. And the volcano that you had mentioned in the chat. The volcano is Krakatoa. So it erupted on August 27th, 1883, and that's the loudest noise in the world.
Ever.
So Gorgie, it's amazing.
Krakatoa, man, we could do a show on that. When I was growing up, Cristina, Krakatoa, and I am sure that it was a subject all across the United States at that age, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and you're learning about history and movies and things. And
I learned it in SpongeBob.
See, that's what I'm talking about, right? And you never forget Krakatoa.
No, you don't, because Squidward was dressed up as Krakatoa. And he's like, Krakatoa. And then he clapped, and I'll never forget it.
Krakatoa, man. And so I jumped into it. I was a kid, and I never forgot about Krakatoa. And then when you find out, it sounds like something from, some Around the World in 80 Days book, right? It's kind of like that, right? Those men and their fabulous flying machines. And you read these great books. And then you find out that Krakatoa was actually real.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts. Okay. Thank you, Philip.
Philip says, yes, thank you so much. It says, maybe the super boom was the Mayan long count calendar version of the ball dropping at midnight in Times Square in New York City.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Why not?
It's like the beginning of Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. So, yeah.
Oh, and I do want to mention before we go ahead and continue, the Krakatoa is still active with the main vent now underwater. It's a new vent.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Well, that island disappeared, right? I mean, that thing just it disappeared. It was right after it was done. It was ocean there, right? So it's still active under the water. Yeah.
Right. So now the new vent is underwater. It's pretty spectacular.
All right. I'm not seeing enough green. Oh, Marty went green.
Yeah, he did. Thank you so much.
My man Marty went green. Let's see. Ganja went green. That's not enough green. No. Don't send me change. We only like the kind that folds.
Oh, no, don't.
Okay. All right. I'm just playing.
The meme. But
okay.
let's.
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Hold on. Because
I'm holding on.
I'm telling you why I want you to hold on.
Okay.
Because the sonic boom is cool, right?
Very
and this
cool.
is modern history. This is 2012. It's a very serious event. But then we have the haunted airport in Ballador. And okay, all right, go. Because this is great.
This is exciting.
Yeah,
this is exciting. Stuff. But first, Marty, OMG, love SpongeBob and Friends. I still love SpongeBob. When I was 11, I had an entire SpongeBob room, SpongeBob lamps, SpongeBob bread spreadsheet, SpongeBob plushies, SpongeBob t-shirts. I had everything. So
the best. Okay. It was SpongeBob, but was he your favorite character?
Yes. Now it is Squidward.
Now it's Squidward.
Yes, because I can relate more to him as I gotten older. But
the old version of SpongeBob, the first, two
seasons. Yeah, right. Those were the best.
Oh, man. When they made the changeover, it was okay. It was different writing and things and stuff.
Yeah.
That first 2 seasons, that wasn't for kids, man.
No, exactly. It was awesome. Jonacide said Mount Rainier is venting, and that's big news. So yes, Mount Rainier is now, right now, venting and being very carefully watched. Could do a whole show on that too, Jimmy.
Yeah, we could.
I do want to mention that. But now let's jump over to the haunted airport before we even talk about ghosts, because we have a good amount of paranormal stories that are all really, really interesting. The first thing that I want to bring up before we start is the Hindu belief in ghosts, and more specifically, hungry ghosts. This is consistent in Hindu culture, Buddhism, Taoism, and those kind of like those Asian religions. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here of a picture of a hungry ghost, and you have the Buddha, because I couldn't find any Indian renditions of a hungry ghost. It was only from Japan, Tibet, and from China. But what we're looking at here is an entity that has passed over a human, but he had become a hungry ghost. And what that means is that this person had died and had a lot. He lived with a bunch of corruption. He was probably a really big liar, very jealous, very greedy. And so instead of reincarnating into another life, have it be on Earth or a different planet, they go ahead and they stay on Earth in like a kind of like a veiled realm to where we can't see them, but they can see us. And they've had all these attachments in their life, attached to things in life, have it also be addictions, but also obsessed and attached with things in the immortal life. And in when they had become hungry ghosts, what changed is that they still have all of these addictions, all of these attachments, but they cannot have them. They see food, they're very hungry, but they cannot eat. Instead, when they eat, their throat burns and it's like they're eating fire. They
Mm,
have these bulbous stomachs
mhm.
because they're just extremely hungry and they can't do anything about it. They attempt to interact with us and our realm in the sense, and they're not able to. So it's kind of like this realm of just complete suffering. So Buddhists and Hindus believe strong hauntings are down to these types of obsessed ghosts known as hungry ghosts. And I did want to lay down that foundation before we continue with some of the other very odd paranormal things that have happened in India.
Now, let's. Okay, all right, all right. Let me. If we're going to go with that kind of flow, we're going to get to the ghost of the airport. But okay, before we go there, because I love this and the Hungry Ghost and the depictions here. So let's also do the Mahandapur Balaji temple, because
Oh yeah.
do you have a picture of the main idol at the
I
entrance?
do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Post that. And if that isn't the scariest, if that's not going to scare the crap out of the entity that is inside of you, I mean,
Well,
it's already going to scare you. It's one of the most, yeah, no, 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 not
well,
that.
this is what the deity that the temple is dedicated to, but the
Yes.
actual picture that's on the temple, I don't have it. I can go ahead and pick it up, but I did want to show this.
Yeah. It is the idol of Hanuman at the main shrine. And you look at that, pull that up, Christina. But and while Christina is getting that ready, because this is a crazy image. Okay. This temple is for the ritualistic healing and the exorcism of evil spirits, of evil spirits. We are talking about thousands and thousands of people that that have a pilgrimage to this temple each year to get their cleansing on, from all around the country. It's not just a local thing. And there's a big reputation behind this. And then so you hear about what they're doing there, which is to rid you of evil spirits and for exorcism rituals to go on. And then the idol of Hanuman, which is Hanuman, Hanuman, right there at the main shrine as you enter the temple, lets you know how serious this is.
It
Christina,
is.
do you have that ready to go?
No, because I really want to address Mark's comment that scientists are saying that Mount Rainier is not venting, and yeah, it now says it's not venting. Go figure. So let's hope they do keep their eye on the volcano. I did want to mention that because that has been conversation we had a little bit earlier, and I
Okay, I'm going to pull
yes.
this up for you right now, and I'm going to have it ready for you, and I will give you the secret signal. Okay,
Okay, okay.
Christina, I will give you the secret signal. Secret signal coming. Secret signal is coming. Let me get rid of that.
I am ready for the secret signal.
Okay, it's coming.
All right, you
Hang
gotta
on,
share your
hang
screen.
on, hang on.
All right, all right. But while you're doing that, what's really odd about this temple, and it might possibly be the only one in India that's at least public, is when you okay, they get thousands of people coming through every single day who believe they are possessed by an evil entity of some kind. And they will go to this temple and they will place boiling water on themselves. They will tie themselves to the wall. They will do pretty atrocious things to themselves to attempt and rid themselves from certain evil entities that they believe are possessing people. And it might also be the only temple that has priests that go ahead and allow people to injure themselves in this way.
Is that crazy?
It is.
Look at that dude. You know,
It's a little freaky.
yeah, it's a little freaky. You're turning to your mom. No.
Yeah, right. You're like, I don't want to go.
I'm not going in there. But look at that. I mean, I just love this. And this is the idol, Hanuman, as you walk in at the main shrine, and you can see the archway, and you can see this. I got the candles lit up here on the floor, right here, down here at the bottom. And but check out that mug.
Yeah, it's pretty vicious. I mean, it's not inviting, if you were to ask me, compared to so many other deities that are across India. They're always very beautifully done, and then you have this god right here, and it just looks a little bit more scary. Now, there is a comment here by Richard, and isn't Hanuman the Monkey King? And so the Chinese Monkey King legends being to name Sun Wukong. Yes. So the origin is supposedly the same one that we're seeing here, Huan Man. So I personally really love the stories and the movies of the Monkey King. Jimmy, are you familiar with those?
A little bit, yes. The short answer is yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're very interesting. But with Hanuman, there are some discrepancies. There's some things that are slightly different, but overall, many believe that they are the same, but just told in two different lenses, two
Sure,
different
and we
cultural
do that.
lenses.
We do that with everything.
Oh yeah.
Right. So that's quite all right. But to have my point in seeing this is there at the the first idol as you come in at the main temple shrine. You're there to exorcise evil spirits, and this is what is going to scare the crap out of. Right? Yeah. Totally cool. Okay, so now let's get to Bengaluru Airport.
Yes. One more thing I want to mention about this temple.
You're
Last
getting
thing.
one more thing is into a part 3 in India.
Real quick.
Just letting
Real
you
quick.
know.
Real
Okay.
quick. The priests in that temple practice exorcism for free to people who think that they do have a negative spirit inside of them. I just wanted to mention that. That's kind of important information there. And also, one more thing before we continue. Nature Cam says, congrats, Cristina. 16,500 subs and 2.5 million channel views. Thank you. That is so sweet. I really appreciate that, Nature Cam. 1 million of those views came from a YouTube short on the movie Prey. If you haven't watched it, watch it.
Can I show you something really cool? I've never shown anybody. I'm going to do it right here on this show.
Okay.
And I'll start the controversy right now.
All right.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Gifted to me.
Uh-huh.
I can't tell why.
All right.
By the Space Force.
Dun, dun, dun. That is so cool.
That is an official military emblem for my car.
Nice.
Is that
exciting?
Right? Tell me that isn't crazy. That's crazy, isn't it?
It's like a Star Trek emblem.
It's thick, man. It's thick. And you can't go to Target and get this. So anyway.
Not yet. Just you wait, Jimmy.
If you're driving down the road and you see that on the back of a car, follow it. Follow that car. Follow that car. Follow that vehicle. Okay. Especially if it's mine.
Don't give people ideas to follow you home, Jimmy.
Well, not just my car. You could be following,
But then on the back, it'll say "Made in China."
And no, this says Pentagon, Washington, D.C. So there you go. But yeah, this is cool, and only available to the Space Force, and that's the real deal. That's the real deal. And I'm debating: do I put it on the Jeep? And what if I sell the Jeep? Do I pry it off? What are you doing, dude? I'm getting my Space Force logo off of the car. I've thought about that, Cristina. What do I do? I got a Jeep that says fade to black on the license plate. I got a red alien on the back window.
You got to take it to India.
Broadcast. The red alien was given to me by Cristina, by the way. So that's on the back. That's on the back window, and I'm advertising myself, and then throw this on the back, and I'm waiting for the day. Somebody pulls up, honk, 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 pulls up next to me, church. I'm waiting for that. That's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. I'm gonna live stream that sucker when that thing goes down. Okay. Can we do the airport?
Okay, we can do the airport now. I'm going to share my screen here. We had to give a slight foundation about hungry ghosts before we continued with this one. I'm going to share my screen right now. Here is the airport that Jimmy and I are referring to. And this airport is where, Jimmy?
It's in, I just told you. It's the Bengaluru International Airport.
That's right. So why is this airport haunted? What's going on here?
Okay, well, a couple of things, but here's the deal. One of the original sightings came, and this is crazy for me, came from a couple of pilots and a flight crew that were landing at the airport, and they saw on the runway a woman in white standing there. Okay, so they freak out. I mean, they freak out, and they see her walk, right? And she goes across the tarmac. They think she went into one of the airplane hangars. They land the plane. They go in. They file reports. They are on the radio. So they're calling into the flight tower. You've got somebody on the runway, which is like, that's a big deal, right? Of course. So anyway, they search the airport. They find nothing. There were a couple of other reports on the back end of this that she was seen walking around, which happened later. There were many reports there, but this first initial incident came from a flight crew. Okay, so they go through all the official steps. The security personnel there at the airport, of course, if something like this gets reported, it's a really big deal. If you've got somebody walking around on the runway, somebody that is going into places where you're not supposed to be, unless officially you need to be there. And we all know the concerns at airports these days, right? Okay, so they search for this individual and they come up with nothing. Here's the deal. The media gets a hold of this story. The flight crew is talking. They go, what?
No, you're right. As soon as the media gets hold of it, that's it. It's no longer a secret.
Because the media goes back to the airport and says, hey, we want to talk to the security team. We want to talk to the tower. Where can we see the official reports? Who was contacted? What did you guys find out? And the airport comes back with, it never happened. Security wasn't alerted. There is no paperwork that incident you're talking about didn't happen. The flight crew and the two pilots find out that the airport was in denial back to the media, and they said, no, not so fast. We radioed that in. They came out. They found us. We did searches. The security team was everything. The airport was on lockdown, and they didn't find her. It's really crazy. And that is just the beginning of the ghost at this airport.
It is. And what we need to keep in mind that this airport was created in 2008, really not that long ago. So the fact that it's already attracting ghosts like these, which really sounds like the Indian version of La Llorona, it's rather scary. And it's not just any white outfit. It's a white sari, to be very specific. And you are so correct. If you see anyone on the runway. That's super duper incredibly dangerous, especially when you see an airplane coming your way, right? Yeah, no, absolutely not. But then as the airplanes got closer to this woman in white, she would just seemingly disappear. And this didn't happen once or twice. This is a very consistent thing that has been happening at this airport since the media got a hold of it, and years later the story has died down, but some people still like to go to this, where when they go into the airport they do like to look for this woman in white to go ahead and make their travels a little bit more interesting, instead of sitting on their phones all day and eating a croissant while they're there. But this this
Christina's got
makes
jokes. That was actually that was pretty good.
Thank you.
That
But
was,
this makes me wonder if there was a murder victim body buried under the runway.
okay. Now there is an element. I like the La Lorna comparison there, because many reports, just like the original report, invite the woman in white for tea. Why, Marty? That's really freaky.
I
That's
think it's a
really.
great
Why
idea.
would you do that?
So you can ask her, what is she
You
doing at the airport?
Now, I asked you about, a little creature. We're having a camp. So we're out camping. We got the campfire, and the skinwalker dude comes in and sits down. What do? You're like, man, no, 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 no. Oh, and now you're okay with inviting the lady in white to tea to ask her questions. Why the change? See,
Well, no, my answer did not change last time. I said, yeah, that's fine. There's other people around me. I would offer them some s'mores. I would offer them some noodles,
you
right?
did
I would
say
give the
forward,
skinwalker some ice cream,
right?
and I would have a good chat with him. My answer has not changed, but I wouldn't do it alone.
Okay, so here the other reports, which were similar to the first night, is that the lady in white at this airport is followed and is chased, and it cargo buildings multiple times, inside the terminal multiple times in different areas, and and she's followed, and then when they confront her, she disappears.
Right.
And that I forgot to mention this. She hangs out in the parking garage there. Yeah, that's even scary. That's creepier.
Yeah, it is. It's like always dark and kind of musty in there.
Yeah, always
And it's
the
already scary to begin with.
it is. So that's what happens. She's always like walking away and fleeing, and you've got people that are following her through the airport. They seem to catch up to her, maybe even have her trapped and cornered, disappears. Over and over again, this is the reports that come in. I love this story.
Oh, but it gets even weirder in
What?
the concept of the paranormal in India. So, there is a New Delhi Paranormal Society in India, probably one of the biggest paranormal groups at the time of its creation.
Are we doing
Turns,
Guarev? Are we doing Guarev?
yeah, we are.
This can I say? I'm gonna get in front of our skis a little bit.
Okay.
I remember this guy.
Do you really?
Yeah, and I was fascinated with him, and there was some stuff in the background. He was on the fringes of things, but he
Right.
certainly represented. I mean, as far as the United States go, but he was on MTV. And there was this UFO thing. What's the word that I want to say? That he was outspoken. He was a researcher out of India with the UFO subject, and pretty good looking guy, pretty popular, right? And had this thing going on in pop culture. And there he is. It's crazy. This is the older version of him too, as well. When he was on MTV, he had a different look to him. Yeah, and very, very popular guy, and then, okay, so now that's who we're talking about. And I so rudely interrupted you, Christina. Who was he? Gaurav Tiwari.
Oh, you said it so much better than I was going to say it. I'm just going to let you say his name for the rest of the time being. I'm just going to call him the paranormal investigator because His name's a mouthful. But this man right here was the head member of the Paranormal Society of India. And he had traveled around the world to about 6,000 different sites studying the paranormal. What's very, very odd about this story is that he had just been with his wife for 2 months, meaning he literally just got married. He was living a relatively happy life. 1 month into his marriage, he had told his wife, I feel like there's like an evil entity following me. I'm pretty scared. A month after that, he allegedly committed suicide. And there was a black strip around his neck, and he almost passed away in his bathroom. But I think his sister in law found him. They rushed him to the hospital, but he wasn't able to make it to a ventilator in time, and he died. When this story broke out, it practically went viral in India because you're having a paranormal investigator
and UFO investigator. Don't forget,
and
you're saying
UFO
paranormal.
investigator.
You're saying paranormal. He was part of, I forget now. There was he was the Indian representative
Yeah.
for UFO research from the United States. I just can't remember the group.
I have it. It was part of Nexus as well, and he was classified. Yeah, it was part of Nexus, like the Indian side of Nexus.
Representative. Yeah.
Right. And people had classified him in a sense as someone out of the X-Files, like the Indian version of the X-Files. So he was a big name in India and even across the world.
Yeah, he was a big deal.
Yeah, when people found out that he had allegedly committed suicide, it stirred things up because, for the most part, his closest friends, his family, even his wife, didn't really believe that. But it was quickly swept under the rug, stating that no, he wasn't happy. Him and his wife had a fight 2 hours prior, and that's why he died. But even some of his biggest fans think otherwise, that maybe it really was some type of evil force that got a hold of him before he could have been saved by his sister-in-law.
Did you catch Dave Scott? There you go.
Thank you so much. Cristina or Jimmy, who has better hair on camera right now? It's obviously this guy right here. The guy we're talking about.
It's Garev.
Exactly.
Thank you, Dave. Dave's on vacation. Dave's
on
vacation.
Are you really? Aw.
Yeah, he's on vacation. Obviously having a great time on vacation that he's hanging out with us during our live stream. So thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Not that exciting on vacation. Oh, it's a staycation.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta back off from doing the work and instead watch other people work. Right?
I was talking to Dave yesterday, and I said I just need clarity, over the phone. And I was driving. I said I need clarification. Are you out of town, or are you at home on this vacation? He goes, dude, I'm repairing my house. That's what I'm doing. So that's his vacation. He's got a housework to do. The wife says, you need to take some time off and you need to build me a sunroom. So Dave's back there, and that's his vacation. We love you, Dave. We love you.
We do.
Thank you, Jessica.
And Jessica, thank you so much. I was actually looking at RVs this morning, so it's going to happen. We're getting there. I'm excited.
How big? Are you still in that 25 to 30 foot range?
Yeah, so like 28 to maybe 31 feet, give or take, because I want to be big because I also need to put in a studio, like a really mini studio.
Well, see, that's big enough that you're not small, right? And it's small enough that you're not too big.
Right.
That 28 to 31 is a pretty magical number because you walk into the RV and you go, man, this is pretty friggin' nice.
I know. I've got to practice it around like the Walmart parking lot a few times because I'm 5 feet tall. Yeah. So I got to like really bring the seat super close to the wheel.
Are you getting the room extensions, the pop outs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to have pop outs.
Got to.
You are rated when you pull in, right? You pull into the campground. You're rated right there, Papa.
Dude, I'm gonna be the coolest one there because I'm gonna deck it out with all the coolest equipment, fleur, everything you can imagine. It's gonna be on that bad boy right there. So I'll be the coolest person
So excited.
on the
I'm so
grounds.
excited. 2 pop-outs minimum.
Oh,
2 pop-outs minimum.
obviously, yes, sir.
2 pop-outs and granite. You want granite countertops.
Okay, well that I don't know if that is even possible,
Have you seen,
but
hold on, we've got more to talk about. But
we have so much more to talk about.
I had Dave Schrader on the show last night, and
Aw.
his new show, which is called Ghosts of Devil's Perch, right?
Yeah.
So it's a great show. And they've obviously got a pretty cool budget. And they've got this, and they're up in Butte, Montana, and they are driving an RV. It's got to be, if I'm going to put a date on this, I'm going to say right around 1980, 1978. They got a 50-year-old RV, and it's awesome. This thing, you got to see the show. You've got to see, you're going to see this, Cristina. You've been shopping for RVs. You're going to see Dave in his, I don't know, it's like a Comanche, right? This thing down the road. You got to watch the show. And so I asked him last night at the beginning, I'm like, dude, the RV. And he goes, exactly, the star of the show. I go, no kidding, man. I love it. And they're running red lights in this thing because it's got no brakes, and they're on their way to a ghost hunt, driving around. You got to see it. It's the craziest thing. So you would think with, a show like this, Travel Channel, Discovery Plus, big budget, that they're going to go out and they're going to get you the Class A, 2022 ginormous. No, not for Dave. See, the thing is, and Dave goes, we got it so we would blend in. I go, yeah, you blend. All right. But here's the thing. If I walked up and this is what they had for me, I would be, this is cool. This, you know what? I love this idea. This is actually pretty cool. And he said, dude, I got Formica. It's got shag carpeting, right? It's got this character to it. And it's awesome. So speaking of RVs, go watch Dave's new show and just love it. It's really awesome. Really.
I will look into it. Gora G made a really funny comment. Schrader, he has the best hair. And for those who don't know Dave Schrader, he's bald.
He's very bald. He's very bald. He called me right before.
He's very bald.
He called me right before the show with you, and I told him, I said, I've got to go on with Cristina. He said, Christina's great. I said, she is. She's awesome.
He's so awesome.
Last night he's trying to manifest. He goes, okay, man, the Schrader knots. Oh, really? You're just gonna manifest my show. Okay, the Schrader knots. Okay.
Yeah, he's awesome. One more thing before we continue. Gunzo says, that's so awesome. Will you be doing lives on the road? Heck yes. Live vlogs and investigations of UFOs and paranormal hotspots around the country. You have no idea how stinking excited I am for when the dream comes true.
Yeah. That's the best part. That's the best part. And see, today you don't need Travel Channel, you don't need History Channel, you don't need A&E, you don't need any of those networks. You've got your own network, your own live stream. Go out, adventures with, you know what I mean, and go and do your thing, and it's your show, it's your lives, right? It's your ability to go and do that. And you don't have to have somebody tell you yes or no, that you can do it yourself and express yourself in your own way. And that's the best part of technology today, Cristina.
That is the best part. And it's so exciting. And we have a little bit more to talk about, but I do want to say that and I keep saying this, but I definitely will be starting a GoFundMe next week to help with fundraising. And that way you can see literally all of the coolest content of vlogging and traveling around the country, going to paranormal and UFO hotspots. People have been asking me about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And I keep pushing it in the back burner, but I'm definitely starting it next week. Okay, so let's continue with the Mysteries of India Part 2. We still have more to cover. This country is amazing.
Can I pick it?
Jimmy, I'll let you pick it.
Virabhadra, the hanging pillar.
Jimmy, have you been practicing?
Yeah. With what?
with pronunciations.
No,
Oh, it's so good.
I'm magical.
Hey, and another leprechaun is cool.
This right here. I mean, okay, we can do the levitating stone, and look at this. Okay, now here we go. This is a red granite pillar, the heaviest stone on planet Earth, right? Okay, we all know how heavy it is. We talk about it all the time. There's multiple tons. And there it is. I'm going to guess from the picture. Cristina can give us the official stats. But I'm going to guess and say that this is over 20 feet tall. I don't know how many tons, but it is probably 3 foot square at its base right there. That's 3 foot. Okay. This is a real pillar. This is not, it's not some imaginary sandstone thing. There it is. You can see it here. And this is, okay. Now go back to the other picture and then we'll get to the stats. You see that little shadow part in the middle right there? Yep, exactly. Where it looks like it's touching the ground. Right. And that's where somebody would go, well, look, okay, it's not really hanging. It's touching the ground. No, it's not. Go back to the other image. There you go. So people will take, there's plenty. There are thousands of images like this on the net of people taking cloth and blankets and things and passing it underneath the stone. Now, underneath the pillar. Do you have a shot of the height of the pillar?
I don't, but I can find one.
Well, you have to see how it's attached to the ceiling. The way that how super glue, right? What's going on here, right? How when you have a pillar, when you see the pictures of this and you understand that this thing is not touching the ground. Okay, let's understand. Can we talk? Let's understand the purpose of a pillar. Right?
Seriously.
A pillar sits on the ground and holds up the roof. That's what a pillar does. Okay? You're not attaching the pillar to the ceiling so it doesn't fall down. It's sitting on the ground. Do you understand the concept of a pillar? Yes, it sits on the ground and holds up the roof. Not this pillar. This pillar is floating and it's red granite. And so when you look back and you see the actual pictures of this, which I have seen this for years, and you look at the ceiling and you look, check that thing out, man. That's nuts to me. Okay, now wait a minute. Swing around. Okay, the actual pillar is not in this picture.
No.
It's in this temple, though. Okay, this pillar is not here, but I want you to look at the tops of these pillars. This pillar is sitting, if you can't see my pointer, but it's off to the right here where you see the sunlight coming in. It's out there. It's at the edge of the complex, but that doesn't matter. The top of the pillar looks exactly like you see it here. What is going on? It's supporting the roof. Okay, so that's it. It's not glue. I don't get it. Anyway, Cristina, go back and see if you can find. No, you read up. Give everybody the specs. I'll pull up the pillar. Let me do that.
Okay, well then I'll stop sharing my screen here while you give me the signal. But this temple that we just showed you photos of, there are exactly 69 pillars that support the ceiling, and one of them is hanging. Keep in mind that this was created during the 16th century. Very, very long time ago, at least. 500 years? Okay. And what's so spectacular about this, and I think what was trying to be conveyed, was this design was to resist earthquakes, to be specific, or at least that's what archaeologists believe why it was created this way, where you had 69 pillars that are totally stationed on the ground, and then one hanging. Apparently, that one hanging pillar resists earthquakes. Is that true? Was that the reason for it? We don't really know that, but that is what archaeologists are speculating.
Okay, now I want everybody to look, and this is what I was talking about earlier. You can see my pointer. Christina's shot that she showed was the inside, and you could see the pillars that I was pointing out to, and you can see how it supports the ceiling. Here is the hanging pillar here. It's the same supporting stone at the top that's supporting the ceiling. It's right here. It's like I said, it's not super glued in. There's nothing there. And then you look at the bottom, and there it is. It's just hanging there, and that's the base. And that is just nuts to me. Look at the pillar in the background. Look at this one. It's identical to this one. It's the same pillar. It's the same top. You can see this here. You can see it here. There's another one here. There's one here. There's one in the background here. There's one is right here. But this one does not touch the ground, and nobody knows why. That's fascinating to me. I mean, that is just way cool. The old ladies, with the blanket. I knitted this Afghan just for this pillar. Look, slides right under. It's just awesome, man. That is just awesome. I love that. I love that, Cristina. I do.
I see. I didn't grow up with grandparents. I didn't have any, but I always heard so many people that had grandparents where they would like knit them things and like sweaters and like beanies. And I'm thinking, oh, that is so adorable. When I become a granny, I want to do that for my cats.
I have an Afghan that my mom made me before she died. I got it, right? And I love that thing, man. I love that thing. Special.
Christy, oh, it's so special because, it's made with love more than anything. Christy, thank you so much. It says Praveen Mohan would be an excellent guest. Jim, have you had him on your Schrader?
Schrader, I'm telling you, man, he's manifested this thing. Won't be able to. I'm not going to be able to get rid of this. I'm going to need like some kind of repellent, some Schrader off. Spray that stuff.
Yeah, he's so funny.
That is great. Thank you for that, Christy.
Thank you so much. Yeah. For those that are interested in this topic of India, Praveen Mohan has an incredible, amazing YouTube channel that talks about all of these different temples. He does boots on the ground investigations. I do recommend that you do take a look at his channel and at his work. He's also been on Ancient Aliens as well. So we only have about a few minutes left. Let's talk about that, isolated island that you've mentioned so many times in your shows and on here as well, because you've mentioned it often. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
No. You start it.
No. I don't know the name of the island off the top of my head.
See, that's why I made you go first.
Okay, but see, check this out. She gives me a list of 50 things, and then she brings up something that's not on the list, and then wants to play fair. No, Jimmy, what's the name of that island? What? Okay. Cristina, please give the background on this. And she's right. I have mentioned this literally dozens of times on Fade to Black.
Straight to Black?
Go ahead, people. Manifest this thing. Go ahead.
So funny. Deranged Lunatic says, have you ever talked about the Montauk Project? Yes. Thank you so much, by the way. Yes, we have talked about it. We've done an entire show on the Montauk Project. It's a little bit further back. It's a great episode. For those that haven't seen it and that are interested in the topic, go to the YouTube archives and you will find the show. So going on to this island. It's just so funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's just hilarious.
So going back to this island, it's the North Sentinel Island. It is owned by India, just off the Bay of Bengal, and this is probably one of the most uncontacted and isolated tribes in the world, to where you're not allowed to actually enter or walk onto this island, not just because they want to preserve their culture, but also because it's incredibly dangerous. The people that have attempted to go on this island were murdered by these tribesmen. So this tribe is believed to be at least 30,000-year-old tribe, and they just do not like outsiders. If they see helicopters on top of their island, they will shoot it with bow and arrows. Now there are the Indian government does check up on the island once every few months to check on their welfare and their well-being without actually interacting with them.
It's
It,
illegal. It's illegal to
it is.
interact.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Their policy is hands off, eyes
absolute hands
on.
off. Absolute hands off. Okay, so let's back up a little bit here. The history about this is that, on a very serious sense, we've got some tribes left in South America,
Right.
inside of the rainforest, up in New Guyana, in that area too. There are some cannibal tribes that have had very little, if no, interaction with technology or humans. Okay, and it's getting rarer and rarer that the possibility for this to continue. But North Sentinel Island, because of its isolation, it's off of the east coast of India. It's in between Thailand and India, and its remoteness. And the unique part about it is they have had no contact. And so it is illegal. No boats cannot approach. You're not allowed to cross the horizon. So this culture on this island, as they look out, they'll never see a ship. They'll never see a boat. The airspace around there is completely restricted. There's no commercial flights. There's no private flights. There's no government flights. There's no military. They have zero interaction. Their development on this island has been on their own. All evolution has been on their own. This is a modern color picture that Cristina has got up here, and this is where they have gone. Okay, this is their development. So what had happened, and this is the crazy part, and I've talked about this so often, that they have had zero interaction, but there was a major hurricane, or whatever they call
It
it,
was a tsunami.
but it was a hurricane first.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Typhoon. I think they're called typhoons over there. By the way, we've got a hurricane right now heading towards Los Angeles. It's going to be here tomorrow. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we've got a hurricane. It's called K. It's like we have a hurricane coming up the coast. It's hitting Baja, Mexico right now, and it's going to be in San Diego tomorrow morning, Friday. It's going to be in Los Angeles on Saturday. Got a hurricane. Yeah, I'm not kidding. We've got a hurricane. Now, it's going to be 85 mile an hour sustained winds. It's not going to be 200 mile an hour category 5 thing or category 6, but it's going to bring 5 to 6 inches of rain. Drought over. Okay, can you say weather control? Right?
Yeah, can we get those avocados back?
Yeah, right, exactly. Okay, so back to the island, and I know that we're out of time. So this typhoon comes in, tsunami hits, and the Indian government goes, hey, should we go check out the Sentinel Indians? You know, should we go? And so they fly out there in a helicopter, goes over the island, and what do? They've never seen a helicopter before. They don't know what it is. You know what they do? They come out on the beach and they start throwing spears and firing arrows at the helicopter. They didn't want to greet the gods from the sky. They were like, hello, what's up? No, shoot first, right? And
ask questions later.
That's exactly what they did. The Indian government said, well, I guess everybody's okay. All right. They turn around, they've left him alone ever since. Can
And
you?
with that kind of mentality, Jimmy, it truly makes me question. We talked about ancient civilizations. We've talked about the possibility of extraterrestrials coming down and interacting with humans, right? Could it have been just like this with this isolated island and humans of today? This encounter, this tsunami happened in 2004, really not that long ago.
Right.
So if extraterrestrials were visiting Earth, could the same thing have happened to them? How did they get worshipped to be gods like so many people possibly believe?
Yeah. Why not? There is, I mean, the short answer is it must have happened in with many cultures, and I think examples of that, like us flying over, would they equate us to gods or not? And how did primitive cultures in the past, including us, deal with the very same thing? And it must have happened over and over again. It had to. There is a movie which is very similar in a weird way what we're talking about. I can't think of the name of it. Somebody will pop it up in the chat room. It's about an African tribe, and it's shot like a documentary. It's tremendous. And this little kid finds, I think, a bottle of Coca-Cola or an empty bottle of Coke, and he runs across. And so, what is it? So he's in this primitive world that he is in, and never seen anything like this manufactured. But now he's holding a Coca. The gods must be crazy. Hides in long grass. Hides in long grass. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you a green alien head. The gods must be crazy. Gods Must Be Crazy too is almost as good. It's pretty fantastic, but The Gods Must Be Crazy. Watch that, because this is exactly what we're talking about here. I look up, Jimmy. I just said it. The Gods Must Be Crazy. Christina, have you seen that movie?
I have not. Never even heard of it.
Down? Are you write it down? Get your pen out. It's a thing. It's called paper. Yeah. The Gods Must Be Crazy. I watched that movie so many times. I got the videotape back in the day. I just aged myself. And it's incredible. It's incredible. The Gods Must Be Crazy. Man, the way that kid laughs. Anyway, hyenas. Yeah, you've got to watch that movie. Oh, man, it's just fantastic. Great ending, too. So, all right, we're way past. Christina, I've got to do Fader night tonight. Everybody, love all of you. What a great family here. Christina, you're the absolute very best. Thank you for just letting me ramble today. India blows my mind, and thank you for that. Now go watch The Gods Must Be Crazy.
And don't forget to call in. Today is Fader night.
Yeah, tonight's Schrader night on Fade to Black. I'll see everybody tonight. Christina, thank you so much. I'll see you tonight on the show. Everybody have a great, safe afternoon. I'll see you guys tonight.
Bye, Jimmy. Thank you to everyone that watched this show live, The Mysteries of India Part 2. Which was your favorite story that we covered, or your favorite incident that we covered today? Let me know in the live chat, or let me know in the comments. Thank you to all of my moderators, all of my YouTube members, and those that became YouTube members today. Thank you for all the super chats, super stickers, and Patreon supporters. I simply could not do this without you. And with all of this support, it is literally practically all of it is going to the RV fund and for ramen, of course. So the dream is coming closer and closer and closer than I could have ever expected. And you're going to get the coolest, best content you could ever imagine. I'm so excited. But I want to say thank you to everyone. Tomorrow is Strange Paradigms at 3 p.m. PST, covering all the strange and mysterious news and headlines from around the world. So definitely you don't want to miss that. Hit the notification bell on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at eyes_on_the_skies to catch all of my show updates and news. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies.